What is going on, everyone? Welcome back into Abrams Reacts. Here today with a very, very exciting video. Not a reaction video. I've done a couple of these before, but this is going to be an album review of Styx's new album, Circling from Above. So a couple days ago, I got my vinyl copy in really quick. It was just about 2 days after I ordered it, and I got my vinyl in, and of course, this album officially releases on July 18th, but I was able to go ahead and get my vinyl early by buying it off of the official Styx website, which I will link in the description below. And I have given the album multiple listens now, and I wanted to come on here and give you guys my thoughts. Now, for those that don't know, I am a diehard Styx fan. Styx is my favorite band of all time. I've grown up listening to this band. They were on in my ears basically every single day as a child. My parents loved this band. I had the Return to Paradise TV DVD that I would listen to all the time, and was really, really a fantastic. They're just such an incredible band, right? And so I wanted to come on here and give you guys my initial thoughts on this album. A couple years ago, I released a video ranking all of the Styx albums. I believe I'm going to re-rank them now, or not now, but in an upcoming video, as my tastes have changed a bit, and obviously I want to include Circling from Above, which has a very, very fantastic album art, as my camera was being a little bit strange there. But beautiful album art, beautiful gradient. And so we will go ahead and we will get into the review. I'm going to go track by track, give you guys my thoughts, and I will give you guys my initial thoughts on the album. This is Styx's most unique album, in my opinion, and that's a very big statement. I understand that, right? Styx has been around since 1971 when they first released Styx 1, and this is a very unique album in a lot of different ways. I think that the direction they took continues with the prog rock direction that really kind of, has been their staple over the past few releases with The Mission, with especially with Crash of the Crown back in 2021. The prog rock is very prominent on this record, but I also think that the B side of this record really kind of tracks in a Wild West, almost saloon type direction, which is something that I really didn't expect. And I will be honest, on my first initial playthrough of this record, I was kind of shell shocked, right? There were some songs that I enjoyed. I think that the A side of this record is extremely strong, right? I think there's an argument that it could contend with any single Styx record for an A side. But the B side really kind of caught me off guard because it was something that I hadn't heard much of within the Styx name. Obviously, if you guys have listened to the artist's individual work, Tommy Shaw released a bluegrass album back in, I want to say, 2012. So they've had some Wild West, they've had some South, they've had some bluegrass sounds, within the members' work, but didn't expect it on a Styx record, and so that caught me off guard. But as I've listened to the record now multiple times, it has grown on me, and each of these tracks have grown on me. And I think that, you know, I'm very fortunate, right? I'm only 25 years old. I know that there's going to be a lot of older fans that click onto this video that have followed this band, throughout its entire duration. I'm only 25, right? So I wasn't there for the, prime era of the 70s and the early 80s, with releases like Pieces of Eight and The Grand Illusion and Cornerstone and Paradise Theater and, for some, Kilroy, right? And so, I've grown up with records like Brave New World was just before my time, right? That released just relatively before I was born, and, Cyclorama, Big Bang Theory, The Mission, Crash of the Crown, Circling from Above. These are the albums that I've experienced on release, right? So my view might be different from yours. But with that being said, opening track, Circling from Above, the title track, this is a fantastic album opener, and it's a very different album opener. I verified this last night, but when you go through basically every single Styx record, and you rip the opening track, usually it's a fast, high tempo, upbeat rocker. That's usually what it is, right? Of course, Paradise, has AD 1928, but then it goes into Rockin' the Paradise, which is a very quick, rocking track. The only one that really you could kind of argue is not like a quick rocker is Mr. Roboto, excuse me. But still, that's a big track. This title track, Circling from Above, is a slow track. It opens with really strong synths, and it's a very slow tempo track. And when I heard it the first time, I had this feeling come over me like this is it. This is the final album opener. And of course, I hope that's not the case. I hope we get records from them forever. And, I hope that we continue getting new music, right? But I'm not one to argue with reality. Our beloved members in this band are getting up there in age. I fully understand that. And, I'm shocked, to be honest, that we ended up getting another album after Crash of the Crown. I remember thinking when Crash of the Crown released that that was going to be the final album. And obviously, here we are in 2025. So who knows, right? But it seems like with these guys still on stage every single night in Styx, they get better and better, and they've got all the energy, and they are putting on a great show every single time. So Circling from Above, a slow kind of ominous start to this album, right? Kind of lower toned vocal harmonies and the synths and short little guitar solo. It's a short track, it's only 2 minutes, but it is a really strong, really powerful album opener, and it is completely different from everything they have ever done in their previous album openers. So really, really nice, really great track. Obviously, track two, Build and Destroy, was the single that was released about 2 weeks ago now, and really great. Really great track. When I first listened to it, I thought that it was pretty good. Didn't do a ton of great things for me, but as I've listened to it more, it's a fantastic track. It really moves. I found the AI music video to be a little bit interesting. Obviously, I know that that was an intentional choice as they talk about AI and kind of the entire thematic of this album. As you can see in the album art, is the kind of nature versus technology battle. So I understand the creative decision to use the AI. I thought it was a little bit interesting. And I saw that there were, a good amount of fans that did not enjoy that being used for the music video. But Build and Destroy, great track, powerful track. Sounds like it was ripped straight from Crash of the Crown. And I have nothing wrong with that. I really, really enjoyed Crash of the Crown. And so Build and Destroy, solid track, one that has grown on me since my first initial listen. Up next is Michigan. This is a track that I think people will like on this record. It's a little bit more of a rocker. It's one that for me at this current moment it's a good track, but it doesn't really capture me like some of the other tracks on this record. Um, it's 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 pretty good, right? I think that people will enjoy it, but for me personally, it's not something that is necessarily grabbing me like say Red Storm did off The Mission, or the way Man in the Wilderness grabbed me off of The Grand Illusion, or you know She Cares grabbed me off of Paradise Theater, right? There's certain tracks that I'm sure you guys can relate to on every single record, not just Styx, but any band, that you hear it for the first time, and as soon as you get done playing the record, you want to go back to that specific track. Michigan was not one of those tracks for me, but I'm sure that for some of you out there, it will be one of those tracks. Fourth was King of Love, and this was a fun track. JY sings on this track, and that was something that I did not expect to happen. I remember reading something, it was probably about a year ago, where JY had said something that it made me really sad, to be honest, but he said something that no one wants to hear him sing anymore. No one wants to hear the music he writes anymore. So he's just gonna kind of tag along with the band, and you know, it's unfortunate that he, potentially feels that way. Whether that report was true or not, because he's the last standing OG member along with Chuck, and so he is Styx himself, right? He embodies Styx, and he's put in some of the greatest work in Styx. Whether it was tracks like Miss America or Light Up or Great White Hope, I think is a fantastic track that is really underrated off of Pieces of Eight. He's put in a lot of great work. Snowblind is another fantastic track that he has a prominent part in, and So hearing his vocals on this track was a really, really warm welcome, and it's one of those classic tracks like Snowblind, like Heavy Water, where it's kind of um, it's JY and Tommy working together on a track, and that's something that I really, really love and enjoy. And so King of Love is a great track. Um, it's a fantastic track, right? I really, really enjoyed it, and it was really, really nice to have JY on that one. Fifth was It's Clear, and this is one of the best tracks on the album, in my opinion. This is one of the big rockers on this album, and there is this guitar part that happens in the opening phrasing and then later in the track as well. And it's like acoustic guitar, but it almost sounds like a like I can't even explain it. It almost sounds like a harp, like strings, but it's clearly guitar. And the line, the riff is so fantastic. It is a great, great track. It is a very catchy chorus with Tommy Shaw. I can hear this in my head right now. Really, really great track. Upbeat, fantastic parts, fantastic vocals. Great track all around. This was one of the first ones, besides the title track, that really hooked me, and I remember wanting to go back to this one immediately after I finished the album for the first time. Number six is Forgive, and this might be my favorite track on the record right now as of June 5th, 2025. A great track that has Tommy and Lawrence Gowan. Really powerful track, really powerful chords. This has an incredible guitar solo on this song and some great vocal harmonies. I believe that the final vocal harmony in this track, that I believe has all the members of the band in it, is the same note that was in the, the final vocal chord of Just Be, the 2006 studio track off of the uh, Cleveland Youth Symphony Orchestra album. So, really, really kind of cool there. That was something that I picked up on. But this is a very powerful track. This is somewhat of an emotional track to me. And what I've always admired about Styx is their ability to write the perfect guitar solos. I grew up listening to classic rock of the 70s, of the 80s, right? Styx, Genesis, Def Leppard, bands like You, The Who, Foreigner, Rush, all those different types of bands, right? And for some of those bands, guitar solos were obviously big back then, but some of those bands would just slap a guitar solo in to the song and it wouldn't necessarily fit the vibe of the song. But especially through the 21st Century Styx albums, I've noticed that their guitar solo writing is some of the best I've ever heard, and it proves that to be true again on this track. I remember hearing, let me try and pull it up really quick. Off of Crash of the Crown in 2022, there was a guitar solo that I thought was so incredible off of Coming Out the Other Side. Lasted very, very long and just fit the melody of the track perfectly. It was so well written. Same exact feeling on Forgive, on Circling from Above. Excuse me. Such a beautiful, powerful guitar solo. Such a beautiful track. As of right now, I believe this is my favorite track on the album. Track 7 was Everybody Raise a Glass. This is a track that does not do a ton for me as of right now. It is one that is okay, right? I don't think there's a bad song on this record. And I will state that now, and I will potentially state it again later. There are no bad songs on this record. This is one that does not do a ton for me. This kind of is where the Wild West saloon cowboy vibe of the album starts to kick off. It's an okay track. Doesn't do a ton for me. I don't have too much to say about it for that. Let me know your guys' thoughts about Everybody Raise a Glass down below. Number 8, Blue Eyed Raven. Here Comes the Bluegrass, a Tommy Shaw track. I've seen some comments and thoughts online in the Styx Facebook group and so on and so forth that this is where Boat on the River leaves off, and I kind of agree. It has the Boat on the River vibe. There is a mandolin solo in this track. Um, I was very surprised when I listened to this for the first time. The second listen, I have fallen in love with this track. This is a great track. I think that this is one that if you don't like it right away, try again, give it a day or two, come back to it. It's different. It's different from what you know Styx to be. But if you think about certain tracks off of perhaps Cornerstone or, Cyclorama, which I know is, not a favorite album for a lot of Styx fans, but even The Mission, Crash of the Crown, this is Styx. It is the rare side of Styx, but this is a Styx track, and this is especially a Tommy Shaw track. Give it another go if you didn't enjoy it. Blue Eyed Raven is a fantastic track. She Knows. She Knows is a song that I believe this is one of the songs that is sung by Willa Vankovich. It's a pretty good track. It is a pretty good track. It was interesting. I thought it was really cool that Willa Vankovich was given some songs on this album. That was something I didn't expect. I foresee some people not liking that decision, but he is a member of the band. He's been a part of the band for a long time. He helped write and produce The Mission back in 2017 and then officially became a member, I think, back in either 2020 or 2021. So obviously he's been a member of the band. It's pretty cool that he was given some tracks, and I don't mind it, right? I think that it's different. I thought that when I initially read the track list, when the track list first leaked, this was going to be linked with She Cares off of Paradise Theater. Unfortunately, that is not the case, at least sonically, but it's a good track, right? It's middle of the pack on this album for me. Number 10 is Ease Your Mind. This is a short 48-second intermission. I love that Styx does this on every single album. Or on the majority of their albums. I think it's great. Quick little intermission, kind of change the vibes. Some great instrumentals, some great vocals, some great vocal harmonies. But yeah, it's a little intermission, 48 seconds. Track 11, The Things That You've Said. This is another just okay track. Doesn't do a ton for me at this current moment in time, but it's a good track, and it's from my favorite band, right? And now I'm not going to be, I'm not a channel that will just build up my favorite band no matter what, right? I think that, it's good to be honest. It's good to understand that, our favorite bands or favorite artists will try different things. They'll try different creative directions, and we don't necessarily have to like it, but that's okay. And I'm not saying that about this track. I'm just saying that in general. But the things that you said, pretty good track. Doesn't do a ton for me, but perhaps down the road it is one that will grow on me. We will see. Number 12, We Lost the Wheel Again. This is a Willa Vankovich track. This is, to me, maybe the weakest song on the album. And the reason for that is not because Willa Vankovich is singing on it. I actually enjoy his voice. I would link it to kind of like Billy Squier almost, or Billy Idol. Either of those I think are fair comparisons. This track does not feel Styx to me, and I've kind of been wrestling with that fact, or with that thought rather, over the past few days as I've listened to this album, over and over again. There's times where it feels like Styx, where it feels like it could be off of Edge of the Century and maybe Glenn Burtnick is singing it. But then there's times where it's like, this just does not feel like Styx to me. Both instrumentally, vocally, all the way around, it does not feel like Styx to me sometimes. And then every once in a while I'll listen to it and I'll be like, well, maybe like it could be off of Edge of the Century. So I would have to get your guys' thoughts on it. I'd be curious to know what you guys think of track 12. The track itself isn't necessarily bad. It doesn't feel like Styx to me. And so that's why it kind of drags it down, and it's maybe the lowest track for me on the record. But I don't think that I would necessarily skip it. But yeah. And then finally, track 13, Only You Can Decide. Off of my first listen, I thought this was one of Styx's best songs ever. Now, part of me thinks that I think that because this could potentially be their last song ever. But if, for sake of discussion, we go down that road and this is their final song ever, this would be a beautiful way to kind of close it all out, right? It's a very slow track. It is a powerful track, and there is a very great guitar solo. Once again, same level of Coming Out the Other Side, Crash of the Crown, Forgive on Circling from Above. Another one of those perfectly written guitar solos for the perfect moment of the powerful song. And when I heard that guitar solo for the first time, like, it brought tears to me. And it's a short solo, but it's perfect for the moment. It's perfect for the emotion that this song is trying to invoke. And the line that is repeated in the song over and over again is, only you can decide your fate. And it feels to me like that's advice from the band, from the members, from the Styx name itself, that only you can decide your fate. And then this is their final lesson. And obviously we don't know if this is their final lesson, right? But as of right now, it feels like that, and this song definitely feels that way. So we will see. But Circling from Above is a great record. It was one that surprised me. I think it's their most unique record, and I think that many of you will agree with me when you hear it for the first time. It is one that has grown on me. My thoughts on the album have completely changed since my first initial listen, and it is a great record. I think many of you will enjoy it. I think there will be some of you that will not enjoy it, and that is okay. But if this is it for Styx, for my favorite band, I can't thank them enough for everything they've done over the last 54 years to give us so much entertainment, so many great listens, so many different emotions. And, I'm sure many of you out there, this band has helped you through a very rough time, as I know that they have for me. And I understand that there's a debate out there for, which era is the best, and, this member is better than this member. And let me tell you this, let me leave you guys with this, as a 25-year-old fan, as an outlier fan of this band, as one of the younger fans of this band. I probably view this band differently than some of you. I view this band as each decade as its own era, right? The 70s was the prime era of Styx, where they were winning all of their major awards, right? Putting out some of their best work, right? With Equinox, Styx 2, Pieces of Eight, Cornerstone, The Grand Illusion. Some of their best work was in this era. And it was when all of the OG members, except for John Saluski, of course, were together. In come the 80s era, and the 80s era was cut short, right? We get Paradise Theater, and we get Kilroy, and that's it. The band splits after Kilroy. And I know that frustrates a lot of people, right? Kilroy was an album that, at the time, I think got a lot of hate, but I think it has aged well with time, and I think people are coming around to it, at least from my perspective. The 80s was its own era, right? That was the era that the band died for the first time. The 90s, obviously, you have Edge of the Century with no Tommy Shaw. You have Return to Paradise, and you have Brave New World, right? And some albums that people necessarily didn't like, but some of their strongest songs, right? Show Me the Way, right? That's one of their strongest songs. Then you have the 2010s, or the 2000s, excuse me, with Cyclorama, the Youth Orchestra album, Big Bang Theory, Greatest Hits album. That's its own era, right? This is the era where Lawrence Gowan enters the band. You have the Arch Allies album, Live with REO Speedwagon as well, right? This is the era where Dennis is no longer in the band. Then you have the 2010s, where it's The Mission, and that's about it, right? Couple live albums, right? They had the 2012 Grand Illusion Pieces of Eight playthrough album down in Nashville, I want to say. And then you have the 2015 Live in Las Vegas album, and then you have the Mission in 2017. And then you have the 2020s with Crash of the Crown. You have the EP, which I'm playing Into the Stardust, right? And then you have Circling from Above, obviously. I see the band in those different eras. And there's always this debate I see online. I see it all the time with the fans. Lawrence Gowan's better. Dennis DeYoung's better. Stop. Stop. As a young fan, please stop fighting. Enjoy the band for each of the eras. Enjoy what each member has put into this band, what they have brought to this Styx world. Trust me, I want more than probably any of you for Styx to reunite with Dennis, right? So we could have a full lineup. Because I never got to see them with Dennis DeYoung, right? He left the band in 99. I was born in 2000. So I want that more than any of you for them to reunite. And I know that for a fact. But that doesn't mean that Lawrence needs to get ripped apart. Or Dennis needs to get ripped apart, right? Or Tommy or JY needs to get ripped apart. The band had their troubles. They had their splits. Things happened. They're not the first band to have issues. Every band has problems. Every band has members that split, that members that leave. Appreciate what this band has brought to you. Appreciate all of the music that they've done, all the music videos, all the concerts, the tours that they've done through these 54 years, and they're still going strong. Stop fighting and bickering. Yes, it would be fantastic if they were brought back together. And I hope that that happens. And there's rumors out there that JY apparently wants them to reunite. Appreciate all of the members, right? And I'm not saying that you have to be a fan of everything, right? I'm by no means saying that, right? If you think Dennis is a better singer than Lawrence Gowan, great. That's awesome. But that doesn't dismiss what Lawrence has brought to the band. And as of this current moment, Lawrence has been in the band longer than Dennis was in the band. I love Styx. I love each and every single member that has participated in this band. From Tommy Shaw to Lawrence Gowan to Dennis DeYoung to John Panazzo to Chuck Panazzo to Todd to Ricky to Glenn. Every member that has been part of this band is important and have made Styx what it is today. Appreciate the work they've done. I thank you guys, as always, for your support. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on Circling from Above. When you get the record and you give it a listen, I would love to hear your thoughts. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Like I said, I'm going to be doing a ranking video of all of these Styx albums coming up here within the next couple weeks, so keep an eye out for that. And appreciate you guys as always. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Really helps me grow the channel. Thank you so much. Have a good one.